Welcome to Parent Coaches Unleashed, the podcast where we dive into the highs, lows, and did that really just happen moment of parenting teens and young adults. We're Carrie and Jessica, parent coaches, mythbusters, and occasional referees in the battle of hormones versus common sense.
If you've ever wondered, is this just happening to me? You're not alone. We're here to help you with real talk, expert advice, and hopefully a few laughs along the way. Need more support? We also offer private coaching, workshops, and speaking engagements because sometimes even parents don't have all the answers.
So continue listening as we tackle this parenting journey together.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Carrie, we have been getting a lot of traction from our listeners on the Am I an Asshole? It's really taken off. Have you noticed?
I have, and I thought it was hysterical. Like, I've been watching the comments on TikTok,
Yeah.
and people are just hysterical over, all for it, that we can laugh about the fact that we are assholes because we've had to say no to our teenagers and young adults.
I like
You know,
sticking by I am not here to be your friend. I'm
Mhm.
here to be your parent. And if you call me an asshole or think I'm an asshole because of it, I could live
So
with
be
that.
it. Yes,
Right.
exactly. There are worse things to be called.
Right. Especially by your
And an
kid.
asshole because you did your job as a parent.
Exactly. So our last episodes actually generated a couple of asshole moments. So I'm going to just jump right in and share one. Okay.
I love that
So
we're, like, moving to the, like, E-rated podcast episodes of late. We're no longer clean, available for any ears. Sorry, go ahead. I
that's
didn't want
okay.
to
That's
interrupt
okay.
your
No, we're
stream
good.
of thought. Go.
My college kid came home from school depressed. They stopped taking their meds and were barely going to class. They came home and shared this with me. In a panic, calls the psychiatrist to make an appointment for her child. When the child finds out, when the child found out that the mom did this, he flipped out and said, "I'm never sharing anything like this with you again," and went back to school. Parent is hurt. Did she overstep? Is their relationship ruined? Am I an asshole?
First off, I think that mom must be sitting in a really terrified position right now because you learned something about your child and your first instinct, obviously, is to help, fix, come to a solution. And I think sometimes as parents, we think when our child comes to tell us something, they want us to do something about it. So we don't know right away with this scenario if she said, "Are you just telling me because you want me to listen, or do you want me to help with this situation?" So we don't know that. But let's just say we're going to assume he just wanted her to listen and she took the steps. So she's probably terrified right now because he stormed off, went back to school, and yet the situation as we know it, we think still probably exists. So it's like mom's not communicating anymore to her son. He's struggling, and we all come up with all the different scenarios in our head, what that can mean, what can happen, and that's awful. And I think a teenager, young adult, well, he's obviously I'm gonna call him young adult. We don't know if he's 18, 19, 20,
Right,
but
right. Either way, he's a young
either
adult.
way, he's her kid. He can't see it from the parent's point of view at all, right? And he's struggling. So I think that the mom, in my opinion, wasn't an asshole. She was fearful that something wasn't okay. And so making the appointment was in a place of, I want to help. Maybe this could help. Because when you're in that place, you will just about do anything to try to help your child.
Right.
So, to be honest, I've been in a similar situation where you're getting information from your child, and all it's doing is giving you all sorts of red flags that they are overwhelmed, not being able to do it on their own, need support, need love, help, and understanding. And to be honest, as parents, we're not equipped to be the psychiatrist, the psychologist, the therapist. Like, it really just is above our level. So I'm thinking what she did was out of love, obviously out of fear,
Absolutely.
but I don't know. I don't think she's an asshole. I don't think you can control that level of fear when you think something bad would happen to your child. Like, I'd rather be the asshole
Okay.
and have
So
my child hate me
you would
that I tried to do something to help their situation and or potentially save their life. We don't know. She didn't say
right.
anything about
There's
any
no
of those
backstory. There's no right.
extremes, but
So so you would rather your child think you were an asshole and
yes.
try to get them the help
Yes.
you need. So
Yes.
I'm thinking about this and I'm looking at it, listening to everything you said, and there are some questions for me.
And I did have a lot to say.
That's okay.
I
It's a
probably went on
you've
for too
yeah,
long about
I
that
mean
one, but
you've
I
also had learned experience with this.
yes.
So it hits you it might hit you differently than it hits me. But here's what I'm thinking. The child came home from college and confided in this parent what was going on. And yes, as parents, we want to fix, we want to help, we want to provide everything we can for our child to know that they're going to be okay. But while the child was telling the parent this, we don't have any indication. As a matter of fact, their reaction is an indicator that this child never asked for help, never said, I really think I need to see my therapist, my psychiatrist. It doesn't sound like this child, from his or her reaction, that he ask the parent for help. As a parent, as much as we want to fix and help and jump in and make sure everything is okay, it also sounds like she was trying to alleviate her own fears and do something to help the emotions that she was feeling in that moment. She feels extreme fear. And what do we do as moms? We fix it, we find a person, we find someone who's going to help us with this. Here you go, here's your appointment. But I while that might be my reaction, I might also stop to say, "Can you explain why you stopped taking your meds? What's going on? Are there any underlying situations you haven't shared with me or that you wanna share with me? Would you like me to help you get an appointment with the psychiatrist?" So maybe the child would have gotten there anyway. Maybe he thought the parent was overstepping if this child is in college and taking care of their own things. Maybe he wanted or she wanted to reach out to the psychiatrist on their own. I don't know. We don't know. But we just offered and by the way, in no situation do I think this parent is an asshole. I think this parent was acting on fear and doing the best they could in managing their emotions and trying to help their kids. However, another option would be to pause and say, I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through this. Can I help? How would you like me to help? Do you want me to help you get an appointment? So that if we're trying to give our young adult, college age kids autonomy and independence, let them make the phone call unless they're in such a desperate state that they're not able to, where this child may be going down that road, but I think the parent needs to take a pause and do a little more digging as to what's really going on.
So, let's analyze a little bit further. Like, why would her child come home and then tell her these things? What was the point? Was the point
Listen,
that he
I
wanted to, and again, I'm not coming at
no,
you
no,
that,
no,
like, you're
I don't think you
I
are
just
at all.
wanna,
No,
like,
we're
debate,
discussing.
right? Why would he come home and tell her he wasn't doing the things he's supposed to do? Why? Is he feeling like, is he
So,
just wanting
it's
to see her reaction? Would she
well, it sounds
say
like he's asking for help without asking for help.
exactly.
Right. However, when the mom gave the help without asking him if that's what he needed, he took off running. So that's why my suggestion is for the parent to pause and say, "So sorry you're going through this. This must be you must have a lot going on right now. What do you need from me?"
And to follow that up, it could be, what have you already tried? And what support and love can I give you in this situation? It seems like you're having a really hard time.
Right.
Now, if
And
he turned around and said, I have no idea, I just want to figure it out on my own, she should respect that. If he said that and then she still went ahead and made the appointment, I'm not gonna call her an asshole, but I think she overstepped because she did the opposite of what he asked, but we don't have any of that information.
here's the other thing. If this was one of my kids, how would I make them go to a psychiatrist? I can't, how do you make somebody if yes, she made the appointment, but if this child is not willing to go, what good is that going to do? I physically cannot make my boys go to a doctor. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's little. If I could, pick her up and bring her, I imagine that would
Yeah,
be a
but
lot of
even
kicking and
even
screaming. She
even
might
if
do some
you could
jujitsu
do
on me.
that,
I don't
right,
know.
but even if you could do that, or even if you could set
I
up
would
an
never. Right.
emergency Zoom,
Right. Something. Yep.
call, he would probably sit there and say nothing.
Right. So the
And so
child
now you've just kind of wasted but who knows? She actually, I think, if I remember reading it to completely, she doesn't even know if he went to the appointment. Like, she made the appointment. She doesn't really know if he actually went or didn't
well,
go.
according to what they wrote, he went back to school.
Right.
So we don't know. We don't know if it was we don't know if it was a telehealth and he did get on. I don't know. I
Nothing.
hope the young adult, I hope her child got the help that he needed.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
hope that she's getting the help that she needs too because she's
And that's
carrying
yes.
around a lot.
So if your child won't go get the help that they need or the help that you think they need, that is your clue to go get help yourself.
Yes.
Because a therapist will be able to help you manage your feelings and have the right words to use the next time your child comes with information and is sharing things that might scare you. You'll be better equipped with how to react and what to say in those situations. That's where a
Such
therapist is so,
mm,
so helpful.
such an important message, Carrie. Yes.
Okay. All right. So here is another scenario, and I am going to jump off of the fact that we are now talking in our most recent episodes about our kids getting engaged and
Yep.
wedding planning and entering that next phase. So I have someone who reached out saying that they were really upset at their future mother in law and pissed off, like calling her an asshole because she went ahead and overstepped in their eyes and planned a bridal shower for her because her mom has passed and the mother-in-law felt like, I guess she was, because again, this is coming from the young adult's
Right, right,
perspective,
right.
not the parent. The mother-in-law must have felt, she was doing a good thing by planning this bridal shower, and the future daughter-in-law wanted the best friend, maid of honor, to do the shower.
Mm.
So now there's conflict, and clearly the young adult's feeling like the future mother-in-law is being an asshole.
So
How do we see it from the parent perspective here? Neither one
okay.
of us are mother-in-laws,
Yep.
but
So
what do we think?
She did not write in to say, "Am I an asshole?" She wrote in
Nope.
to say, "My future mother-in-law is
Mother-in-law
an
is an
asshole."
asshole. Yes. Yep.
So, here's what I think I have learned from the planning experts and therapists that we've spoken to around this subject. I really believe, we're gonna go back to our shirts, our hats, it all comes down to communication because while I can understand why the daughter-in-law might think the mother-in-law was an asshole, but hopefully as a future mother-in-law myself one day, I can also understand the mother-in-law wanting to do something that she perceived as good and a surprise and just a way to celebrate her future daughter-in-law. By the way, I heard this expression yesterday, a daughter in love instead of a daughter-in-law.
We might not love all of our
Well,
future.
this the
I don't know
listener
if
I
we're
was
loving
talking to
this
yesterday
future
did.
daughter-in-law.
But I think asshole's a little too strong. I really think she was trying to do something nice, but I also think when there are different parties involved, I think these things should be talked through. Even if she was trying to surprise the daughter-in-law, maybe she would talk to her son and say, "This is what I was thinking. Do you think she would like it?" Because I'm sure the daughter I would like to think that maybe her future daughter-in-law spoke to her son about it and said, "Oh, I can't wait. So and so is gonna plan my shower." I don't know.
Yeah,
But
clearly
I
there was
feel
a
like
breakdown in communication
yeah,
there,
that's what it seems
and
like.
when as parents we have very good intentions and
Yes.
think we're doing things to be helpful, we may not be, or it may not be received that way by the young adults, so by this future daughter-in-law. So,
I
yeah,
don't
that's gotta be a hard because that's just one event in their wedding and their future nuptials, right? So if you're already starting off like, "I'm gonna plan this shower," and then you find out, no, you're not, don't overstep.
yeah.
Now you're put in a place, what's coming next with the wedding itself and other activities around there, but yeah,
It's
I think
interesting
it's
that the daughter-in-law was even this upset by someone wanting to make them a shower. It sounds like there might be some underlying tension going into this, and as far as the mother-in-law is concerned, your daughter-in-law told you how she felt. All you do is, "I'm so sorry." You apologize. You own your mistake, even if you don't perceive it as one. "I'm so sorry. I really just wanted to celebrate you. I never meant to hurt you or step on anyone's toes."
Yep,
And
I
hopefully the
love that.
daughter-in-law accepts and they can move on and know that communicating is so, so important to their relationship.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Keeping in Keeping on topic with the weddings, we had another interesting one, another mother-in-law, daughter-in-law scenario. But I like the way, the mother-in-law phrased this. She said, "Am I a dated asshole?" She said, um, "My daughter-in-law only wanted a photographer for the wedding, but I went ahead and hired a videographer as well. Who wouldn't want these memories to last a lifetime? I know I would want them even if she doesn't. Am I an asshole?
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
she an
you
asshole?"
would think, right? Because now they have all those cute, like, the day after the wedding, there's already a quick replay and a
Yep,
recap that you can send out to your guests. I've even seen them that next morning after the brunch or
yep, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
thank
uh-huh.
you, goodbye, thanks for
The
attending our
teaser, yeah,
wedding.
yeah,
The
uh-huh.
teaser, right? They're already
Yep,
sending a little quick. So I
recap,
would
yep.
think that that was really cool and exciting. But you know what? What I've learned, I mean, my kids are not engaged, but I have nieces and nephews and other friends who have kids in the wedding stage or already married. We just are very out of touch with how the young adults who are in the wedding scene right now, how they are viewing their wedding, their party, the guest list, like
All of it.
everything is very different.
Yeah.
And God, I don't know. I think I would just have to step back and maybe wait to be asked to do something or for my input because it just feels like any idea we have, like this outdated asshole mom, right? It is. It's antiquated. They're looking at us like we have 18 heads. What are you talking about?
Right.
We just
So,
don't understand. And everything has become so very, whatever's the trend is on Instagram or TikTok that the new brides are seeing is what they want to do. And we're not sitting there as the future mother in laws looking at today's trends. At least I don't think. Well, sounds like this one wasn't because she's off thinking about the videographer when her future daughter in law said, no, only a photographer.
right. So again, we don't know why. We don't know
Mm-mm.
what the bride's feeling was. We only know the mom wanted that, the mother-in-law wanted this. Just from my perspective, I know this is going to sound so morbid, but so many people who were at my wedding are no longer with us. And that's a way to keep a piece of them alive and share them with my kids and explain who part of their family or good friends were.
Wait, let me just ask you, in what format is your wedding video? Is
Well,
it on a VHS tape and you
it's
have to find a player to
it
put it in?
started as a VHS tape, but it was converted to both
A thumb
a
drive
thumb drive
and a
and
DVD?
a DVD, I think. Yes, yes,
As you're saying it, I'm actually I can remember in our old house where the VHS tape was, but
yes.
I'm not really sure if we transferred it to a thumb drive and where this video might even be.
Well, I think that if you really wanna watch it, you could probably get a VHS player on Amazon for, like, 19.99. So,
Right. Okay,
it
so
all
we
comes down listen, I know why I would want it. I know I can understand why the mother-in-law would want it. I'm not sure why the daughter-in-law doesn't want it. Maybe they have social media there. Maybe she just loves pictures and she feels like the pictures tell a story. But the bottom line is her daughter-in-law said no, and she went ahead and did it anyway.
yeah. For our listeners, if you did not listen to the episode with the event planner, Julie
Mhm.
Cohen,
Yep.
you should go back and listen. However, I will give you one piece of advice that she said, and this kind of plays into this scenario. And this is how I hope I will remember this when my kids get married. But she suggested having a bridal budget. And
Yes.
so you just decide the amount of money you're going to give towards this wedding. Hopefully, you have a good relationship with the future in laws, family, and you guys can decide together this is the amount of money we're putting in, and let the bride and groom make all of these decisions. And this
Mhm.
way, we're not getting our feelings hurt, we're not being called assholes. And here it is simple. That's my
Agree
solution.
wholeheartedly.
Now,
Okay.
ask me again when I'm actually in the place, if that's how I really feel, but today it sounds really good. Okay, so last scenario, and again, this is one of those that comes up all the time. Both we've heard of it from our listeners, from private coaching clients, and then it's all over any sort of Facebook group where you have parents asking for advice. So it's the kids staying up all night gaming.
Mm.
Next day, and we're going to assume that these are high schoolers because you actually have control about them living in your house and going to school. But they stay up all night gaming. The next day, they don't feel well and they don't want to go to school. But you, as the parent, make them go to school anyway. Are you an asshole? Is she an asshole for making their child go to school?
I'm gonna go with no. They are not an asshole. School is your child's responsibility, your child's job. If you stayed up late gaming and you didn't go to work the next day because you were tired, are you following through with your responsibility? Your child made a choice. The choice was going to stay up late and game. Going to school is a non-negotiable.
Yes.
You're going to school or you don't feel well because you're tired. So what can you do differently tonight so that you feel better the following day?
Mhm.
Let's talk about this. Do you think that staying up gaming did you any favors for going to school, for getting enough sleep, getting enough rest? I think we need to talk about some limitations and boundaries around your gaming. Listen, that's what I would say. In theory, will it work? Everybody's child is different. I feel though there should be rules, expectations, limits around electronics before it gets to that point.
Right, I mean, having a gaming system is a privilege. It's not something as parents we have to
Right.
give to
Right.
and provide to our children, even if the, let's just call 16, 17-year-old, has a job and purchased it themselves. Like, you provide the internet, you provide the bedroom where they sleep,
The
or
electricity to run it.
or the room that they play gaming in,
Right, right,
wherever
right.
that is, right? It is a privilege regardless of who bought the system, but the rules in your house should be, and I get it, we're not waiting up or tucking our high schoolers in bed anymore
My
and
gosh,
checking to see
I can't
what
stay up
time,
past my
yeah,
kids anymore.
right, what time they go to sleep.
Right.
But obviously, if they cannot get up in the morning and it's a repetitive thing, obviously you know that they're staying up doing something else. And kudos to this parent for sticking their grounds and making their child
Yes.
go to school.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure there's lots of parents out there that add in on this morning when the kid wakes up and they don't feel well, they have a test. They have a really important test, or a project was due, or they got to stand up and give an oral presentation. I'm going to say there's probably some parents out there that would give in and be like, okay, fine, just stay home, because they don't want their kid getting a bad grade or being unprepared because, oh no, what's that going to do?
Right. Yep. Although that was
With
not
all
said, that
those
is
factors.
definitely yep, definitely a possibility, and I think with or without gaming, there are definitely parents and child relationships that if a child said, "I'm not prepared, I need to stay home and study some more," that they would allow it, you know?
Right. And I know as a parent, if you give in into it like this one time, you're thinking, okay, it's the one time. But if it's one time, there probably will be another. And it's just not really setting up a good example for when they leave your house
Yeah, for future
and
study
when they have a
habits or
job.
preparations or college or whatever their next step might be, it's
Right.
not setting them up for the real world.
Success, right, and the real world. So
Yeah.
I don't think this parent's an asshole. I actually commend them
Yes.
for making the child. Now, who
I
knows what
agree.
that morning looked like,
Oh my gosh,
and
could you I could
actually
imagine.
making your child get up and go to school and what that looked like, whether they had to drive them, they drive themselves, they have to make the school bus, who knows,
Yep,
but
and going back to what I said at the beginning, this child definitely thinks this parent is an asshole, but
who
that's
cares?
okay.
Who cares? We really need to be in a place where it's okay that your kids think you're an asshole from time to time, because sometimes being the asshole is what teaches respect. Like, they don't all of a sudden, I mean, yes, you would hope that your kids automatically respect you as their parent and listen to what you say, but we know that's not the case. They might listen, but they're going behind your back, talking to their friends, talking to themselves, whatever the other siblings about what the parents did or how much of an asshole they are for ABC. But eventually that becomes respect and love. And I'm not talking about being an asshole because you've overstepped and done something
Right.
emotionally wrong or abusive to your child, but
No, obviously,
holding
it's
your
yes,
ground and
holding your
saying,
ground, holding your
"No."
boundary, and sticking to your responsibilities. This is school. This is not anything but school. This is what you're where you're supposed to be. You don't feel well because you're tired. It's also a lesson in every action has a consequence.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
huh,
Alright. Well, we hope that these asshole scenarios are helpful to you and or getting a good laugh because we like to bring you things that all of us are really dealing with
yes, for sure.
and to think about on a regular basis if we are doing the right thing as a parent by holding our ground and saying no. And it's not easy. This parenting thing is not easy. Sometimes we are really confident about our choices as parents, and other times we second guess and aren't sure we did the right thing. But if we step forward and we always have the good intentions, and the good intentions are trying to raise independent, productive human beings, then I think we're doing the right thing.
100% agree. And if you do find yourself on the asshole side of things and you realize you made a mistake, no better way to teach your child forgiveness than by saying, you know what, I thought about what I said and how I handled it, not happy with it. I'd like a do over and offer you an apology. Can we try this again?
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate our listeners. As always, please follow us on Instagram at Parent Coaches Unleashed, on TikTok as well, and reach out to us via email at info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. We would love to have whatever scenario is going on right now with your family and maybe need a little guidance or want to share a funny story with us. We love hearing from our listeners. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, Jess.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed with Carrie and Jessica. Together, we can raise the next generation of independent, capable, and compassionate young adults.
We encourage you to send us an email with questions and feedback to info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. Please remember, you are not alone on this parenting journey.